Part 2. How Libraries Help the Homeless. Having examined the homeless situation in Yellowknife, we will now turn our attention to the role libraries play in helping the homeless. In this section, we will examine how libraries have traditionally served homeless patrons and the effectiveness of this intervention. Public libraries worldwide serve a diverse cross-section of the population, meaning they serve a patron base which often reflects the demographics and characteristics of the community in which they reside. There exists, however, a patron group that is often overlooked by the community in which a library resides, but are regular library users: the homeless. Homelessness can be categorized in three ways: situational, which occurs when someone loses a job or suffers a particular financial crisis; episodic, which results from patterns of behavior and can have multiple causes; and chronic, which occurs due to a combination of poverty and a lack of relationship or support services. Libraries are a refuge to the homeless regardless of how their situation is categorized, and offer a place where the homeless can not only find a safe environment when compared to life on the streets, but also a wealth of resources that can provide the knowledge or skills needed to better their situation. One homeless patron described the library as one of the few places she can go where it doesn't matter what she wears or whether she has money, she's entitled to the same services and treatment as the person standing next to her. As such, libraries serve a dual purpose for the homeless. They provide an opportunity to connect to the world at large, and at the same time, disconnect from aspects of their immediate surroundings. Historically, many libraries and staff have considered the homeless as problem patrons. Many libraries describe a situation in which a dilemma exists between offering a safe haven for the homeless and maintaining a safe and pleasant environment for other users. Libraries are now realizing, however, that the homeless have the same right to service as all other library users. This is the first step towards making the homeless truly feel like equals, as libraries realize that the homeless have genuine information needs, and are taking steps to serve this underrepresented demographic. Many libraries are currently working on removing the barriers that prevent the homeless from having equitable library access. The two most common obstacles that homeless patrons face in utilizing library resources are the fines that most libraries implement in order to ensure the timely use of library materials, and the regulations that require patrons to provide identification and a permanent address when acquiring a library card. In order to make their collections more accessible to the homeless, many libraries are now eliminating fines for these users. Additionally, some libraries are allowing homeless patrons to use shelter addresses on their library accounts, and are providing shelters with standardized forms which can be filled out for the homeless and be used in place of identification. With public libraries now recognizing the homeless as deserving equitable access to resources, some libraries are now budgeting resources towards creating programming for these underprivileged clients. Libraries are devoting time towards training staff to better understand the issue of homelessness in their communities, and staff are then able, with this newfound awareness, to create programs that are better suited for homeless patrons. Targeted programs offered by libraries cover a variety of topics, including mortgage and rental assistance, applying for government benefits, applying for health programs, and general education diploma classes. While programming for the homeless is gaining ground in libraries, the majority of libraries offer referral programs for the homeless. Many libraries are working to create partnerships with relevant organizations such as food services, counseling centers, emergency housing placements, and employment centers, where they can refer homeless patrons to receive help that the library is unable to provide. While these referral programs are admirable, they are not without their own limitations. Many homeless patrons suffer from low self-esteem and are unable to bring themselves to take advantage of the programs to which they are referred to. Furthermore, these individuals often have difficulty with trust. Agencies have failed them in the past, and they feel it is not worth the risk to try again. Beyond the disadvantages of these efforts lies an even greater problem. Homeless patrons whose situations can be classified as episodic and chronic are particularly troubling for libraries. Their situations cannot be solved through referral programs or targeted programming. Library staff simply do not have the professional training required to assist patrons with such issues. A solution to these problems is to provide in-house support for homeless patrons. Libraries in cities across Canada and the United States, including Edmonton, San Francisco, San Jose, Philadelphia, and Salt Lake City, now successfully employ social workers to assist their at-risk patrons. Having a social worker employed by the library promises benefits to not only the community's homeless population, but to the larger community itself.